Hello everyone, this is for Algebra 2, section 2.4. So, as I mentioned in the last assignment in 2.3, this is slope-intercept form, where the m is your slope and the b is your y-intercept. First thing you do is to write an equation in slope-intercept form, given the slope and given the y-intercept. You just fill this essentially and just plug the numbers in. So, if you want to make it look like y equals mx plus b, and you know the slope and the y-intercept, you just go y is equal to 3x plus 5. Pretty easy peasy. Y is equal to 2/3 x minus 4. Y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 0. And you guys know adding 0, really isn't necessary, so if you want, you can just leave it there. But understanding if it's missing, it's got to be a 0. So for this one, y is equal to 0x plus 4. Well, 0 times anything is 0, so it's really just 0 plus 4, and you guys know 0 plus 4 is really just this. So remember, if it only has a y, that must mean it only crosses the y. So that's going to be a horizontal line at 4, is what that is. Right? Slope is 0. I'm just trying to reinforce slope is 0 means that it's a horizontal line. All right? Negative slope means that the graph is going down to the right. Positive slope means the graph is going up to the right. So as you're doing these, if you ask to graph them, then hopefully you can look back at it and go, wait a minute, it's supposed to have a negative slope, but my graph is going up. I must have done something wrong. Same thing here. If it's supposed to be a positive slope and you graphed it and it's going down, you can go, wait a minute, I know I did something wrong because the graph is supposed to be going up. All right. Write the equation of a line given a slope going through a following point. So just, not that you have a attention span of a gnat, but just going back. Here you were given the slope and the y-intercept. Here you're given slope and a point. So to help you see it, it didn't ask you to graph it, but to help you see it, negative 1, 4 is like right here with a slope of 2, up 2 over 1. So your line is looking something like this. I need the y-intercept in order to graph it, or to write the equation. So you know this much information. mx plus b, you know the slope is 2, so you know this much. This is an x, that's a y. Here's a y, here's an x. Fill those numbers in so you can find your y-intercept. So it's going to be 4 is equal to 2 times negative 1 plus b. 4 is equal to negative 2 plus b. Add the 2 to both sides, and you get 6 is equal to b. So your final answer is, go back and replace this b. So you got y is equal to 2x plus your y-intercept, which is 6. And when I ask you guys to show work, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you guys to show me how you get the value of 6. All right, trying this one. Y is equal to negative 4x plus b. There's an x, there's a y. Fill them in. 2 is equal to negative 4 times 1 plus b. 2 is equal to negative 4 plus b. Add the 4 to the other side. 6 is equal to b. So coincidentally, they both came up with 6. So your final answer, negative 4x plus 6. Notice on both of these, you did not go back and fill in your x and y after you found the b. Some kids think you're supposed to write 2 is equal to negative 4 times 1 plus 6. Well, that's true. 2 is equal to 2, because if you solve that, you get 2 is equal to 2. But that's not what you're supposed to do. Once you get your y-intercept, you're done. I hope I didn't open a can of worms here by showing any of that, but some of you kids that are wanting to do this don't. Once you find your y-intercept, you fill it back in where the y-intercept goes. All right, y is equal to 0x plus b. 0, well, okay, let's go and fill those in. 2 is equal to 0 times negative 1, it's a times symbol, plus b. 0 times anything is 0, so 2 is equal to b. So, to write your answer, you have to go back, fill in the b. Y is equal to 0x plus 2. I suppose you guys could leave it there. My preference is, though, you go, oh, 0 times anything is 0, so it's just y is equal to 2. And this would be your final answer. Notice once again, it only has a y value. so it's only crossing the y-axis. It's doing it at 2. I'm just reinforcing to you guys that that has a slope of 0, so it's a horizontal line. Notice it only has a y in the equation, so it's only crossing the y. Okay, this one has an undefined slope. You cannot, you cannot write the equation for this type of line using this. Remember, in graphing it, let's go 2, 2, 2 over, 2 up. If it has an undefined slope, that must mean there's some number over a 0. So that means you're rising some amount, but you're not running. So it's a vertical line. So it's only crossing the x-axis. This one's the y-axis. It's only crossing the x, so it only has an x in the equation. The x value is 2, so x equals 2. This is what the equation for this looks like. There's no work to show, there's no algebra to show. You just go, hey, it's a vertical line, so it only crosses the x, so x equals 2. If you were given -7, 12 with this undefined slope, then you just go, okay, I know it's a vertical line. Those look like x equals, so x equals -7, and you're finished. There's nothing else to do. There's no work to show. You just have to know, you have to recognize, you have to memorize that that means x equals. Okay? Okay, so just backing up a couple screens. In order to write the equation of a line, you need a slope. Oops, I guess I gotta go one more. You need a slope and a y-intercept. Here, you're not given the slope or the y-intercept. So you have to find both the slope and the y-intercept. You got to find both of these things. Finding slope, remember that's y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So I usually draw the fraction bar with the subtraction signs first, fill the numbers in, 4, 2, -1, 2. So you have 2 over -3. So that's your slope, -2/3. The negative can go up or down, doesn't matter. So you got to find your y-intercept now. So that's when you back up and you go like this. Now it doesn't matter which point you fill in. I'll do the top one and the bottom one just to convince you. I'll do one then the other. So that's an x, that's a y. So 4 is equal to -2/3 times -1 plus b. 4 is equal to 2/3 plus b. I need to subtract the 2/3 to the other side. I'm hoping you can do this without a calculator. You got 4 minus 2/3 is going to be 3 1/3. So your final answer, you're going to replace the b, now that you know it, -2/3 x plus 3 1/3. All right, showing you it would also work if you use this point. You're going to back up to this right here. This is the stage that you're at, right there. Now I'm going to fill in 2, 2. 2 is equal to -2/3 times 2 over 1 plus b. When you multiply fractions, you just go straight across. So that's going to be 2 is equal to -4/3 plus b. Now you need to move the 4/3 to the other side. So I'm going to add 4/3 to the other side. To help you do this in your head, rather than grabbing a calculator, that's 1 1/3. 2 plus 1 1/3 is 3 1/3. So you see, you get exactly the same answer. It's not going to matter which point you pick because both of them are on the line. So this would be the equation for the line going through those 2 points. First thing I did was I found the slope. Then I found the y-intercept by filling in either of those 2 points. So again, find the slope. So 2, 4, 1, 4. So you get -2 over -3, which is 2/3. Fill it into what you know. Pick either point. I like these because they're smaller, so I'm going to pick those. 2 is equal to 2/3 times 1 plus b. 2 is equal to 2/3 plus b. I need to get rid of that 2/3, so I'm going to subtract it off. Again, I'm hoping you don't need a calculator for this. 2 minus 2/3 is 1 1/3. So your final answer, you have to replace this. Y is equal to 2/3 x plus 1 1/3. If you wanted to write it as an improper fraction, you can. There's no need. You guys are welcome to leave it like this. So that would be plus 4/3. The only reason I'm mentioning that is sometimes the book's going to write them like this rather than that, but those are equivalent. I went 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, 4/3. Okay. Doing it for this one, find the slope first. 2, 2, negative 1, 2 gives you 0 over negative 3, which you know is 0. So y is equal to 0x plus b. Fill in an x and a y, it doesn't matter which one. I'm going to pick this one. 2 is equal to 0 times 2 plus b. 2 is equal to 0 plus b. So b is 2. So go back and fill this in. So y is equal to 0x plus 2. Again, noting that anything times 0 is 0, so y is equal to 2. As you get more comfortable with doing these, I'm hoping that you're going to notice, hey, my y values are the same. If I were to have graphed that, there wasn't a requirement to, but if I did, just trying to reinforce this, negative 1, 2, so negative 1, 2, 2, 2, 2 over 2 up. Notice you got a horizontal line. Hey, that means it's going to be y equals some number. Well, notice your y values are the same, so y is equal to 2. And you got it. Find the slope. First thing you got to do, so for 2, negative 2, 2, 2, 2 negatives in a row make a plus, so I have 4 over 0, and you guys need to recognize that's undefined, so it's a vertical line. All vertical lines look like x equals. The equation does. What's your x value? 2. So if you guys can recognize that, hey, my x's are the same, if I were to have graphed it, to the top one, 2, 2, 2 over 2 up, 2 over 2 down, that's a vertical line. So it's going to be an undefined slope, which means it only crosses the x, which means it's going to be x equals whatever the x value is. So the first thing you guys had to do was find the slope. Then you had to find the y-intercept. If it looked like this, find the slope, then the y-intercept. If it looks like this, you know the slope, find the y-intercept. If it looks like this, you're told the slope, find the y-intercept by doing that. Here, you're told the slope and the y-intercept, so there's nothing to calculate. You just write it, right? That ends the first part of section 2.4.